Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here.
Jason.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are The Real Movie Guys. Welcome to Real Terror Month, a series where we discuss movies that will send chills down your spine. On today's episode, we will be taking a look at Friday the 13th, Part 3. Having revived from his wounds, Jason Voorhees takes refuge at a cabin near Crystal Lake. As a group of co-eds arrive for their vacation, Jason continues his killing spree. So, John, it's here. Last movie, we saw Jason. It wasn't quite the guy, we've come to know and love. But now he has donned the hockey mask, the legendary hockey masker. Are you happy now? Did you get it? Did you get what you wanted finally?
Finally. Took long enough.
Took him long enough.
Three parts
Right,
later.
3 parts. So, this movie, I would argue, the first two are enjoyable, right? This one, we finally start to see like what's going to be the future of Friday the 13th. So this institutes all the things that'll be happening like in the Friday the 13th franchise, from type of characters, events that happen. Overall, what did you think of this movie?
I felt overall it was kind of like almost the same thing again. It almost seemed like yeah, it was a part 3, but it almost seemed like you put part 1, part 2 on repeat, and this is the movie again.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like, I mean, there was there was more kills, but overall it was pretty much just like the same thing, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, but I think there's a lot of key differences that I kind of want to get into. So the first thing I really want to talk about, this Jason finally is complete, right? This is the Jason, for the most part, that we'll see throughout the rest of the series. Like, this is, if you were to think of Jason Voorhees, right, this is the version you would think of, more or less. Like, this is the looming monster. He's finally bigger. Like, Jason actually grew between part 2 to part 3, apparently. He got replaced, obviously, by another actor. But he gets, the trademark hockey mask. He doesn't have it for a while, but it's about an hour into the film, he finally gets it. And we get that classic image, and it works for me, right? I mean, regardless if there was a sequel or not, that hockey mask is just, it's creepy overall, I feel like. Do you like the design of the hockey mask? Do you like that? Are you a fan of that what they chose?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's it's definitely a cool look.
It's menacing, right?
It's
for
definitely
whatever reason.
It's definitely so much better. Like, I feel like it's even more scary than what his face actually looks like.
Right.
Because I feel like it gives more like terror. Like,
well, I feel like there's a whole like psychology behind that thought. I remember reading somewhere, it was some kind of article where they were talking about like the psychology of like, like seeing like movies like Friday the 13th, Halloween, anything with like a masked killer. We're more afraid about the unknown underneath than we are of the actual mask. There's something like alluring to that. In this case, the hockey mask just gives off this like uneasy feeling at times, especially when he's in the shadows. I feel like when you can't see his eyes, when you see his eyes, it's kind of like, it's a little goofy, right? In some ways, when you see like his actual eyes through the mask, but when you just see those like black soulless like shadows coming out from underneath that mask, that thing is visually stunning, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's just foreboding. Something about a hockey mask. It works. It works in all contexts. Ironically, he gets it from the comedic relief character in this movie, who's not even that funny, but do you know the name of that character?
His name is Shelly.
That'll teach you a valuable lesson. A beautiful girl like you should never go out in the dark alone.
Damn it, Shelly! Why do you do these stupid things?
Shelly, yeah. If people at home, again, another trivia, you want to test your friends, who does Jason get his mask from? Shelly. A goofy guy named Shelly. It's such a weird piece of trivia and weird history in this Friday the 13th franchise.
Well, he's also such a weird character, too. Like, that's what I've noticed about like these movies, too, now. They always have some random characters in it.
Right.
That, like, don't really like that. You can understand why they're in it, but they also don't make sense why they're in it. Like, it's almost like, hey, we need somebody from left field to be in this movie.
Right. Well, it's interesting because I acknowledge Jason's evolving as the series goes on. Is the people around him are kind of evolving into like worse stereotypes than they were originally. You always had like the comic relief, but now you really have like a comic relief guy. You have the one like girl, like the uppity girl, and then the other people. Everyone's just sex crazed, right? At this point, everyone just wants sex, no matter what's going on. Even if there's a killer on the loose, they could care less at this point. Everything's evolving, and some of it's for the best, and some of it not so much. I feel like
there is a time and a place for everything. And now's the time, and now's the place, if you know what I mean. So what I think we should do is set aside 3 hours a day to fulfill our needs. 1 in the morning, and 2 at night. If you agree, I agree.
Were you talking to me?
It's also always funny how there's almost in all these movies always someone that gets mad and leaves the house and then goes swimming.
Oh, always,
or goes to the lake, and you're just like, all right, like
Right.
obviously that person's going to die. Like nobody ever goes to the lake and then comes back and like, oh, I'm good now. Like
right.
it's almost like you see it before it's coming, but like they make it almost more obvious. Like, oh,
No,
all right,
yeah, you're right.
one's gone now.
I completely agree. So, a couple other things. So, this movie, I would argue, even we're finally getting clever kills. Would you agree? We're actually getting like, okay, that was kind of cool. Like, we're getting those the kills that aren't just like before. We were getting used to just like I was arguing. Even you mentioned a couple of times too, where we were just getting like quick cut against the throat. Just unoriginal, boring kills. This movie definitely doesn't go in that direction, I don't think, with that. There's a lot of really good kills in this movie.
No, yeah, and that's what I've been noticing too. More as like the series goes on and all these movies take place, they are getting more original and better with the kills per se. And I feel like the kills are one of the things that they're stepping up their game with. It's not just every single time it's a slit across the throat or like
the kills are becoming
an
the
axe throw
highlight.
or something. Yeah,
Right,
it's always different. That's the one thing about
mhm.
this movie too that I feel weird about.
Right.
Because the whole time I don't care about any of these
You don't feel
characters
bad.
actually getting killed. Like if they had nobody left at the end, I'm like, whatever. Like
Right.
they
No.
kind of all deserve it in the end.
Yeah, I don't really care about them. They're disposable fodder for Jason, and that's part of the excitement to see. Now you're starting to understand the creativity behind it's kind of sick, but at the same time, you're looking forward to the next kill, right? You're looking forward to see how creative they're going to be with how he like gets rid of somebody. I mean, even in the one scene, he makes somebody's head explode. He crushes a man's head. His eyeball pops out. Other positives, this is the birth of a famous trope that's in Jason. Now, John, did you notice at the end, now we get to the final girl, we're at the end of the movie, right? He starts a chase sequence where he chases her. Every movie going forward essentially is going to have this sequence now where Jason chases the final girl through like a maze of horrors, where it kind of was in the other movies, but this is where it's like I feel like it's more prominent and noticeable. Like they'll find all the bodies, we'll find everybody that's been killed, like, oh my god, they're dead, oh my god, they're dead, and they'll go on a ridiculous chase. She'll try to fight him off, he'll knock past whatever his obstacle it is, and it'll end with her like getting knocked down, and he'll just be just about to attack her, and then he gets like beat up at the end, or he gets killed, or killed is an arguable word, I guess, for him. But yeah, this is the birth of the famous the Jason chase. Yeah. And it's not even a chase. This is the last time he runs too. I'd like to talk. We didn't get into the next movies yet, but we actually do see Jason. He's still kind of mobile in this movie. He's not a complete walking zombie monster yet. That comes a little bit later on. I feel like he's still a little more human in this movie to an extent. But yeah, we actually do see him run, and this is the last time. The future ones are really just him like walking really fast and I guess teleporting. I don't know how he gets there so fast. It's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I also think that's weird too. Like just Jason in general, like when he shows up and when he doesn't show up, and how it they
yeah.
kind of go through like each time you almost kind of like can tell like okay he's coming, but then they'll show you like little its and beats of pieces of like okay, but how do you? They're kind of like testing you almost like now do you know how this kill is gonna happen? Like they
Right.
kind of let you into like okay a kill's gonna happen here,
They give you a little hint. Yeah. It's like a
but then
little
they're
hint.
like but do you know how it's gonna happen?
Right.
Like try to like keep you on your toes,
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
which I thought was good.
No, I agree. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I always like the Jason chases. I look forward to those in these movies. I think they're exciting.
My problem too with like you're talking about the Jason chases too.
Yeah.
It's almost weird and how almost it seems like in every single one of these movies
Mm-hmm.
they have a chance where they can kill Jason.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
of
they
course.
never take it. Like it's almost like at times they want to kill him. Like they're like,
Right.
all right, I'm gonna kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like laying on the ground or something,
No,
and they're
you're
just
right.
like, I'm just gonna get away now. Like
Right. And that's also something I did like actually in this movie. That goes to another positive where I did like the end of this movie a lot. I like the whole barns, they have that whole sequence at the end in the barn when Jason gets hung. I thought was like crazy. I'm like, holy crap, and he's still alive. Like that was pretty dark, especially for that time. I can't really think of them pulling something like that off. And then also we get the iconic scene when she puts the machete to his head. He gets the famous split in his hockey mask, and I just love that scene in general. Like she hits him in the head with the axe, and then he just throws his hands forward like nothing happened. He's like, grrr. I'm like, what the hell? Like it's like, what is it going to take to stop this guy?
and she's thinking in her head like, oh crap, no, I
yeah.
just shit myself. Like
That's why I said this is my favorite Jason, where he's almost Terminator mode. I think he's gonna get there soon, but this is finally like he's getting to that monster that you should fear, and I really
Yeah.
do like that. Also, this movie finally pulls the trigger. I mean, it's been in every single movie. The whole sex kills trope starts to really go into full swing in this movie, even more so than the other ones. I think this one really just like I said, everybody wants to have sex in this movie, and Jason just wants to kill everybody that wants to have sex. The last thing I really do like is just the continuity. I love how part 3 picks up right after part 2.
Quiet little community of
Jerk.
Crystal Lake was shocked today with reports of a grisly mass murder scene. 8 corpses have been discovered in what is already being called the most brutal and heinous crime in local history. A police spokesman told Ion News that they've been combing the area since just before dawn and are afraid that their gruesome discovery is just the beginning.
So I feel like even though there's a discrepancy in the size of Jason, and you can have whatever with that, I like how it just like picks up literally right after part 2. I feel like we don't see that much in movies nowadays. Even horror, whatever genre you really want to talk about. Whenever you have a sequel, it's always some times passed in between. Very rarely do we get a sequel that just literally picks up right from where it left off. And these parts have been doing that pretty well, I have to admit. Even though it's a cheesy horror franchise, I feel like they all feel like they're in the same universe together. I never feel like I'm watching, like, I don't know, even though they're different directors, different writers, I feel like they're all still connected. Like these parts, stay true to their name. Part 1, part 2, part 3, like they're all connected, I feel like.
yeah, no, I definitely agree.
And it's ironic because that makes Jason like a dynamic character, essentially, right? He's constantly evolving and changing as the series goes on. And it's just interesting to see, to see that we still want to follow this character through his evolution.
As he becomes a bigger and better serial killer.
Seriously. That being said, there are some negatives. Like you said, there's a lot of fodder in this movie, unnecessary fodder. We have the couple in the beginning of the movie. I didn't really care for that whole sequence. Like, I know that seems to be a thing that happens a lot in Friday the 13th. There'll be like a couple quick kills to give you like a small taste, right, of what's to come. That's really what they are, right? They really serve no narrative purpose whatsoever. There's the biker thugs.
Make a wish.
Can I buy you 2 guys a beer or something?
In this movie, who I thought were pretty ridiculous overall. I didn't really care for that subplot. I really just liked him focusing on the campers or the counselors, or not even counselors actually. They're teenagers. They're just teenagers in this movie, guys. They're not counselors. He just killing them seemed to make more sense, but adding these other people kind of threw me off a little bit. It's a good and bad thing, I would argue, because it's good because we're getting extra bodies to see some more clever kills. It's bad, though, because narratively it's not serving a purpose, and it's kind of making it feel just random, which it does. It feels completely random in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I think they were also trying to have like a boss bitch character too. Like,
yeah, that was another thing.
She owned everything.
Is this your rubber? Didn't your mama teach you manners? If you want something, you ask. Nice.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she comes across Jason and she's done so.
Yeah. And that goes into something else I wanted to talk about. So part 3 also has the subtitle of part 3D. It's annoying. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate 3D horror movies. I don't like it. You know, I'm famous on this channel for something else we talked about I hated that was in 3D, and apparently that's our most popular video for whatever reason. Now, this movie, again, we didn't watch this in 3D. Neither me or John watched it. It is actually getting re-released, which I might talk about later on this channel with an unboxing for a new set that's coming out. But I didn't watch it in 3D. Even if I did, it's just cheap parlor trick 3D with things like, whoa, it's in your face. I think there was like a yo-yo.
That was close. Hey, you better watch out with that thing. Come on. I'm warning you, Andy. I'll break your string.
Being thrown in your face. If there was like a pole, the one, like you said, with the one biker girl, it stands out to me because it's so annoyingly stupid. She has like the big pitchfork is like sticking out into your face as they pan the camera. I guess you could argue it's not super intrusive, but the fact that it's there just annoys me. So I put that immediately as a negative, just because it's cheap and hokey looking. I don't like it. You know, it's unnecessary, right? It just it takes you out of the filmmaker style because you know they're just doing these 3D parlor tricks.
Well, that's always been my problem with 3D. I feel like a lot of the movies that they either release in 3D or put out in 3D,
right?
They never let the 3D serve its purpose. It's always kind of like they almost use the 3D as like, oh man, I have to put this in 3D now,
right,
instead of like making a movie that will be helped by 3D.
Yeah, and
stuff.
Horror is a strange genre that it's like very obsessed with 3D. There's a lot of like 3D horror movies. Maybe that's something we'll cover in the future, just talking about 3D horror movies. There's a lot. Like when you really go through like the list, old, like this was like the red and blue glasses 3D. This wasn't even you know, the more modern 3D that we have now, which, you know, whatever. I don't want to sit there. I have to wear my own glasses. I don't want to wear another pair of glasses on top of that.
Well,
Again,
you don't
3D.
you don't like to have two glasses? Come on.
3D doesn't interest me. No, thank you. Another thing, there's a couple of things I'm getting annoyed at with the series. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. The first thing, I'm getting sick of the dream endings. All right, every movie so far we have like, it's a dream, or is it a dream? I hate that. You know, I don't want that. I'm sick of it. I don't want it anymore. We need to really just move on from that trope because it's stupid, and it's always the same thing, right? Essentially, it's the same. They just get randomly attacked by somebody, and then it was a dream the whole time. And this one, I think, is even the worse offender with that in a way because it's Mrs. Voorhees. You know, the last girl, she's in the canoe, and she gets attacked by Mrs. Voorhees, who's decapitated. Not even a character anymore that would be able to do that at this point. I just don't like. I mean, it was clever the first two times. I mean, the first time it was really good, right? The first time it was extremely clever and awesome. Second time, all right, you know, it's a little different. You're paying tribute to the first one. I got you. No more. Stop doing it. Now it's almost like I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, like you're just sitting there going, okay, so when's this gonna happen? Well, that's
Right.
the other thing about like I feel about horror movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Horror movies are so much more about like just waiting for things to happen
Mm-hmm.
than for things actually happening. Like
Right.
you're always waiting for like the next kill. You're always waiting for like the next jump scare or this or
Well, that's
that.
like the benefit to horror. I always feel like is the anticipation of what's going to happen next. You can't, in one respect, you can't wait for to see what the next kill is. But in the back of your mind, you're also like a little like, I don't want to see what the next kill is because I don't know what it's gonna like. I don't want to get scared. It's that fear, anticipation of both of fear and excitement. I think that combination works in slasher movies and makes them so endearing.
I also feel like horror movies are actually perfect
Mm-hmm.
for like a theater scenario
Oh yeah, with a group.
because it's
Right.
dark, you're in a group.
Mm-hmm.
There's like especially when like you hear noises from like behind you,
Right.
it puts you more into that mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could do it at your house and everything,
Right.
but I feel like these are definitely movies that are best watched like when it's dark out, when it's
Mhm.
like pitch black and you're sitting there
Right.
and you're into the movie. Because I feel like if your mind's not into these movies,
Right.
then you're never gonna like be able to enjoy it. You're just gonna be like, oh, okay, I don't kind of understand that or something.
The last thing, and we kind of briefly touched on this, the cast is completely unlikable, which is a good and bad thing. I don't like any of these teenagers. I don't care about them.
Andy! Debbie! Chili's
You know, out of all the ones I think we've watched, these are probably my least liked out of all of them. The only reason I really remember Shelly's name, right, is because he got the mask. Jason got the mask from him, and he was so annoying.
Well, at least you got the outside lights working. Nice makeup job.
Otherwise, they're all interchangeable. They're all forgettable. Yeah, no, I really didn't care for anybody in this movie. You know, this is the movie, like I said earlier, this is Jason coming into his own. This is what he's going to be for the future. The movie makes it clear, essentially, too. All the time we spend with Jason is some of the most exciting scenes in the movie, especially the kills are just fantastic.
Well, that seems to be like a theme too with these movies. Like, it seems like the people that they hire to be like almost like these main guys are really just like background actors per se.
Yeah, that's
In a
definitely
way.
a thing. Yeah, there's no one of any
So it's
kind of pedigree.
No, and even if I'm not even just saying like big name people.
Right.
They're just their characters don't come off well.
Yeah.
Their characters don't come off as like you want to relate to them in any way. It's just kind of like
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we've gotten a couple actors here and there. There's one, we actually didn't even talk about yet, but there's a couple here and there that we get where you're like, okay, they're kind of just like Kevin Bacon. I think he was just a likable person, likable character. Just the aura he gives off, regardless if he was famous or not. You kind of remember his character a little more, but like I said, going forward, they're really just all interchangeable and all forgettable. Which,
Yeah, definitely.
if you just had one or two maybe that I liked more, it wouldn't be so bad. But who's to say? Who's to say? We're at that point now where we're going to present our Real Kill Award. Due to the nature of the season, myself and John will now select a recipient of the Real Kill Award, a special award given to the kill we think is the highlight of the film. John, who would you like to award?
my real kill is kind of like almost in two parts. I enjoyed the scene where Jason got hung. I thought that was like
But he didn't
ironic
die.
and kind
He
of
didn't die.
iconic. But I also liked when she smashed the axe in his head. Too.
Mhm. Okay.
Like to give you that. I feel like that has so much to do with like so much in this movie.
No, I can agree. I think
Or so-called kill, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's an excellently executed kill. To me, it's iconic, like we said earlier, just because we see the axe in his head. I just think that really is like one of the more iconic kills as far as that's concerned. I would like to award my real kill award to Vera getting shot in the head with a harpoon gun. In a way, this is kind of a special kill. I feel like this is the first time we see Jason in the hockey mask. I think it's creepy as hell. It's also kind of confusing, right? Because Vera's on the dock. She's looking for, I think it's Shelly's wallet. Like, he dropped his wallet, and she's like, oh, I feel bad for him. Because Shelly's been trying to, like, hook up with her the whole movie. So she gets his, like, wallet out of the water, and for some reason she thinks Jason and Shelly are the same size and the same build, which is really confusing. I mean, it might be dark, but okay, sure.
It's not that dark.
No, but whatever. At the same time, though, but you see Jason, like, he lingers out into the dock, and he, like, turns his head slightly. He's got, like, that creeper iconic, like, stance, right? It's just like a zombified stance. And she's like, oh, yeah, come over here. And then, he just pulls out the harpoon gun out of nowhere and just shoots her right through the head. And you see her eyeball pops right out. I was like, again, it's corny, it's cheesy, but I like it. Again, it's like, that's the first kill that we have is like Jason as this new character, which I really do like.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's a great scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of other good kills. Like I said, I didn't go into too many of them earlier because I wanted to save it really for the later part of this video. Like I said, the handstand kill was definitely a consideration for me. I thought that was really awesome. The one guy's doing the handstand, and then Jason just like chops him in half while he's doing a handstand.
Andy!
Yeah.
Are you still out there? I can't hear you.
And then you see him later, like in the ceiling, all folded up.
Where's this coming from?
Oh yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, it's weird, and also
his blood's dripping on her, and she's
it's
like,
just gross. Like I said,
what the heck?
If it wasn't for the dock scene, like I said, that to me is just iconic for me. But that's up there. I can't really think of too many things that are much grosser than that scene. Also, I like the fire poker scene a lot. Jason like shoves a fire poker through, I think it's Chili. That's who he pokes her. He sticks her with the fire poker, and it's like burning, and it's on fire. It's sticking out the other end. Like I said, these kills are getting a lot more creative and crazy, and we're going to see that, as the series goes on. We're going to get some crazy stuff going on. But I really appreciate that this movie took the effort to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we're at that point with the review where we're going to give our final scores. I'm going to give Friday the 13th, Part 3, a B-.
Andy, I can think of much better things for you to be doing with your hands.
You win.
Again, we're getting an evolution of Jason. We're getting better kills. Unfortunately, though, with all the positives that I'm getting from this movie, it's getting dragged down by maybe some of the series negatives that'll start to come more alive as the series goes on. The endings, I'm not really liking. The dream sequence endings are getting old. The unlikable characters. I'm here for the kills. I'm here for the blood, which are all good and dandy, but I also need a little bit something else. So even though the series is arguably getting better, it's also maintaining some things I don't really like. John, where do you stand with this movie?
I give this movie a C. I feel like it's good just like the rest of them. I feel like it's a little bit worse than the other two.
Okay, I
can
see that. Yeah.
I feel like the fact that the iconic Jason mask is in it, and they just have more iconic kills, kind of keeps it at a C for me. I was debating whether it's a C or a C plus.
Right.
But I was like, there's so much things that like.
I know. I feel like if I made a list, if I took out a list and I just made like all the positives and negatives, I feel like between the first one to this one, they would kind of just even themselves out. Right?
They would all be basically the same movie.
Right.
Like if you like we were saying before too, like or our last episode, you put these movies together,
Yeah.
they're a pretty solid movie.
Right.
It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But a
it's pretty
solid movie.
Yeah.
But separated, they're kind of like,
yeah.
eh.
Well, I still think it's good. We're still going strong with Friday the 13th. But hey, thank you guys for checking this out. John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube, The Real Movie Guys on YouTube. Like our channel, subscribe. Tell us in the comments what you thought about this movie and what are some of your all-time favorite kills in these movies.
Oh yeah, let us know what your favorite kills. Did we get it wrong? Did the wrong person win in this movie? Let us know.
And also you can find us on Twitter at TheReelMovieGuy. You can also find us located on many podcasting platforms such as...
Yes, for your listening pleasure. We are also available in podcast form at iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Be sure to give us a listen at any of those fine places. If you already are right now, hey, we greatly appreciate it. Just search Real Movie Guys. We should pop right up. Thank you all so much again for joining us for this episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. And don't worry, there are more scares to come as the Real Terror Month continues. We'll see you next time.
See ya!